is in the house. So I'm a Jackson, Mississippi man. So you are my original neighbor. So good to see you.
And Ms. Johnson, I'm born from South Carolina, so I need to speak to you. So
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. We are all family. So yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Who else do we have in the house? See, the lines are filling in. People are coming in. We are excited to share. Who else do we have in the house today? See, Miss P. Coffee Brown is in the building. Mr. Pete Abraham is in the house. Miss Angel, also another hometown friend in the house.
Landon was good, brother.
Hey, what's going on? Is that Siobhan and Earl?
Yes,
It
sir.
is.
All right, New York in the building, Atlanta in the building. Good to see you all. Good to hear from you all.
Brooklyn's in the building. You got special.
Brooklyn's in the building. Let me get it right. Let me get it right. Brooklyn in the house.
Original Brooklyn, yes. Crown Heights affair.
Brownsville, baby.
All right.
South Carolina.
Oh man, South Carolina is deep. That's what I'm talking about.
Mr. Taylor, are you related to Chuck Taylor?
I probably am. If there's a Chuck Taylor in Mississippi, I absolutely am. I'll relate over there. Good to hear from you, Mr. Jones. Glad to have a conversation with you. All right, we are still
Orlando,
in
Florida.
Orlando is in the house. How's it going, Miss Gabby?
It's going. Ready.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you as always for your wonderful energy. I see we have Florida in the house. We have some more. We have
And
St.
we've
Louis.
got Maryland in the house as well.
Oh, we got Maryland. We have is there a doctor in the building?
Is Atlanta going to hit a home run tonight?
Dr.
Oh, man.
Arlene.
Listen, the energy from this family is more than enough, man. So I'm just excited and privileged and honored.
Yeah, Leroy from St. Louis here.
Mr. Leroy.
Right.
Good to see you, sir. Good to hear from you.
That's the real OG.
I know
Great
that's
evening. It's Laura Johnson from South Carolina.
Now that's the OG from South Carolina. The Queen is in the building. Good to see you, Miss Laura.
Miss Laura, how you doing, my dear?
Doing awesome. Doing awesome. Thanks for asking.
All right. As people begin to come in, please state your name and where you are zooming in from.
Stephen Walker from North Carolina.
Excited for the presentation.
Mr. Walker, North Carolina in the building. Good to see you, sir.
Idris Salaka, Brooklyn, New York.
Mr. Two Times Brooklyn himself. What's going on, Doc? Good to see you, man. Always a pleasure.
Welcome aboard, OG Alaka.
All right. Some more
My
people.
name is Jaden Turner. I'm in Long Island, New York.
Okay. How's it going, Jaden? Welcome to the call. Welcome to the call. Man, New York is deep today.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Tim Neal from Toa Baja, Puerto Rico.
Tim Neal from the PR. You know, I think as Mr. Bean said, and I'm going to mimic that, we need to make a trip out there in Puerto Rico. So whenever you make that invite, we will be there, sir.
Yes, sir. He's sold out here, big time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, we can make it heat up. We can heat it up out there. What's up, everybody? Sam Bean here. I want to take over real quick here and give you guys a last round or two of introductions. So go ahead and state your name, where you're calling from.
You got Dr. Russ in Detroit.
Dr. Russell, welcome to the call.
Thank you, sir.
Got Ignacio, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Iggy is in the building. Welcome to the call.
Got Timothy from Chicago.
Chi-Town is in the house. What's up, Tim?
Shannon Chapman from Tampa.
Hey, okay. You said from Tampa? Tampa's in the building. Okay.
I'm between Tampa and Chicago, but we're down in Tampa now, so.
Stay in Tampa. Chicago Bears ain't doing so good right now.
Yeah, right?
That's a low blow, man.
Hey, man, I got the microphone.
We got Charles from the nation's capital.
Gotta
Hey,
rub
Charles,
that
welcome to the call. Glad
Thank
to
you,
have
my
you.
man. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir. All right, guys, we'll go ahead and get started in just a second. Want to make sure we're good on Facebook. We're live on Facebook. So this is a moment, guys, you want to go ahead and really take a moment to start text messaging your prospects and people who you really want to see what we're here to offer tonight. I'm going to be part of the Tonight Showcase, but I will not be the first half. Tonight, we get a chance to introduce you guys a gentleman who I'm excited about. Again, he took his talents from one company to another and brought his talents over here to BYLD. He's a guy who's actually doing really, really well, not just in the sales as far as solar sales is concerned. He's also doing big things and building, a sales force. And this guy's a family man. As a matter of fact, he's about to he's expecting number two, and he's probably one day or a sneeze away, from that happening. And so he's got to go out here and make more money so he can bring mama home for good. But guys, again, make sure you're ready to take some copious notes. This is one sharp individual. I'm looking forward to hearing from him tonight, and I'm looking forward to introducing him to you guys as well. So help me bring Mr. Landon Taylor to the stage and give him some fires and wands and welcome him into the BYLD family, guys.
Wow, wow, wow. Thank you, Mr. Samuel Bean. I just want to just give you a huge thanks for allowing me the opportunity to share the stage with you. So as I said to everyone on this call, it is an honor and a privilege to serve, and I have a servant's heart, and I learned that from my leadership. So ladies and gentlemen, I won't be before you long because it does not take a long time for us to realize what we have in front of us. As you can see, we're going to talk about BYLD Network. And what I love about this company is that this company is all about building your mindset, building your business, and building your network. All right. Can you all see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Let me see here. I'm not sure what happened, but I lost the presentation. There we go. All right. All right, so let's talk about BYLD Network. So here tonight, we're going to talk about what this company is all about. So what I love about this company, again, we're talking about building your mindset, building your business, building your network. And the story of the company is one that I love. A few gentlemen got together, their families got together, and they decided to do something that was a little bit different than what the industry saw. So what you're going to see tonight is something that is not a Me Too company. You're going to hear about a high-ticket brokerage, which is 4 individual verticals, with each of them having high income potential. So here's what I love about that is that you want to learn how to build a business. And why should you build a business? And number one, nobody's going to come save you, and nor should they, right? Because at the end of the day, these presidents and these owners, their bottom line is about building their business for their family and not yours. Again, it's not going to be personal, but it is their privilege because, I think for all of us, we understand that in financial times, many people worry about their family. And we understand that entrepreneurship used to be a should, but now it's a must. And I think we've all been there, right? We all can look back and say, I should have done this and I should have done that. And, now that entrepreneurship is a must, you can no longer be on that should boat. Because as my father used to say, if you stay on the should boat, you will find yourself should out of luck. So again, entrepreneurship is a must. I know you like that, Mr. Bean. That's an old Mississippi saying. But because here's why entrepreneurship is a must, and I can tell you this from experience. Financial crisis is serious. There's debt crisis, layoffs, and I can tell you layoffs are true because I am a 9-to-5er. Yes, I will admit my name is Landon Taylor, and I am a 9-to-5er. But I will also say that I'm also a 5-to-9er, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But we talk about layoffs, inflation, higher taxes, higher tax rates, bankruptcies, recessions, depressions, and even job displacements. We hear about this all the time where people are being furloughed from their jobs, meaning that they hear about, not coming back to work on certain days. And in many cases, some people never come back to work, but we do have a solution. But people right now, they're going to the gig economy. Now, what is the gig economy? Things like Uber, Etsy, Airbnb, Shopify. Now, I will say that my wife and I, we've tried 2 of the 4. we've tried Etsy, we've tried Shopify. I did not try Uber, nor did I try Airbnb, because as Mr. Bean said, you look up and you're driving people to and from the airport, you're tearing your car up, and you doing Airbnb and people are tearing your house up. But we tried Etsy and Shopify, and I will say that, they do well. But there's one thing that they do not tell you about. The gurus who are on YouTube do not tell you about this, is that it takes a lot of capital to do really well in an industry that is now saturated, right? When COVID happened, a lot of people were jumping into these businesses, and that was great timing. And we'll talk about a little bit later what timing means to start a business. But here's the thing, if you feel like you're alone when you need to start a business, you're not. What I love about this slide is one key thing that you see on the screen. You're not seeing a myth, right? You are seeing about 13 billion people who are looking up how to start a business. What does that mean? There's a high probability that someone that you know is looking to start a business. And it's a lot of people who, you may see that are shaking and faking, and they may seem like they have everything put together. But in reality, 13 billion hits on how to start a business is happening every single day around the world. Now, a lot of us, we want to learn how to start a business, but many of us, depending on our vantage point of where we come from, we do not know how to actually identify a good business opportunity. So what does that look like? To identify a good business opportunity, you want to look for, number one, timing is key. But you also want to look at an industry where there's a huge target market, but low market penetration. So I love this example that Mr. Alaka gave before, was that if I came to you and asked you about cell phones, if you want to get into the cell phone business with me, 9 times out of 10, you would know that there's a big target market, right? Because everybody uses cell phones, regardless of age, sex, race. Everyone uses a cell phone. But the issue with that is that the market penetration is just too high, right? But also, you want to look at a business where we offer essential goods and services, which is what I love about this company. Ladies and gentlemen, we are not just talking about pills, lotions, and potions. We are talking about real businesses, real essential goods that are happening right now that people absolutely need. Mr. Bean often talks about, when crisis happen and when the recession happens, or even when COVID happens, people turn to their habits and their necessities. So what if you could offer goods and services and necessities that people absolutely need? The reality is that people, when debt crises happen, people will hide their cars from the repo man. They may even go on the brink of foreclosure. But one thing that most people will always pay is that electricity bill and the water, because that's an essential need. But you also want to look at industries, again, that thrive in good and bad economies, as I stated before. All right, so here are the services that we offer. So I talked a little bit high level about essential goods and services, but let's talk about exactly what it is that we offer with our 4 high ticket brokerage services. So let's start with our flagship product, Encore Solar. We partner with Freedom Forever, which is the #1 residential installer in the nation. Listen, we have not partnered with just a Johnny come lately or a mom and pop shop. Listen, when you are offering service to your clients, you can rest assured that you are offering services with a company and partnering with a company that absolutely knows what they're doing. They are not just picking up people off the side of the street. These are W-2 employees who understand and know what they are doing. And they also have various services, and they have various warranties for those customers. So many customers have just, just the drawback of solar because they feel as if, someone's going on their roof and they don't have a warranty. Well, again, rest assured that the company that we've partnered with, right, Freedom Forever, they have warranties where there's 25-year craftsmanship on the warranty on the roof. But also, if we say that it is a 10 kilowatt system and the system produces at a 9, know that Freedom Forever will make right on what happened with that system and send your customer a check. We also have Brinks Home Security, as well as ADT, Rain H2O, and we also have what I love, which I absolutely have fallen in love with, which is Smart Money Cover. Let's talk about the money. Let's talk about money for just a quick second. We'll talk about the service. Let's talk about the money. What do you get when you partner with Encore Solar Freedom Forever? Well, let's talk about $6,000 to $10,000. Ladies and gentlemen, the average salary in the United States at a very high level is about $64,000 per year. That averages to about a little over $53,000 per month. Now, let me ask you a question. How would life change for you if you were able to bring home an additional $6,000 to $10,000 for one deal? Now, I don't want to scare you, but I will tell you that we have people in this company, mentors, who will show you exactly what to do, how to do it, when to say what, and how to say it. Will teach you how to earn $6,000 to $10,000 for one deal. And it just doesn't stop there. So you may say, that sounds great, but listen, I'm just looking for an extra $500 a month. $6,000, $10,000 sounds great, but I'm not there yet. No problem. What about home security? The reality is that every 39 seconds, a home is being broken into in the United States. And we just talked about the debt crisis and different things happening in the United States, right? So what happens when debt crisis arise? What happens when foreclosures rise? What happens when people have more money than money, right? We start to see more crime, right? But what if you could offer a service, right? What if you were that person who just needs some right now money, quick money? $500 is nothing to poo-poo over, as a lot of people would say. Because the reality is that $500 will keep a lot of people out of bankruptcy, but also $500 will keep a lot of marriages together. So again, offering essential goods and services, protecting your assets is key. But here's one thing that we've now offered, and this also hit home to me because I mentioned as we began that I'm from Jackson, Mississippi. And not too long ago, Jackson, Mississippi had a water crisis that took nearly a year to get right, to just stabilize the standard. Ladies and gentlemen, it is no secret that the same pipes that many of us, when we were kids, that we drank from the fountain and water hoses are the same pipes that we use today. And even our grandparents use those pipes. So even though you may have a brand new home like myself, those same city pipes that were used decades and decades ago are still pumping water into your home, and we are bathing with that. Again, when I saw the presentation from Rain H2O, I absolutely could not unsee what was going on. So being able to offer a system not only to protect their assets, but also to protect their health is key. Right, I am a firm believer of alkaline water, and being able to offer that to where you're getting anywhere over $1,000, $2,000 is major. But last but not least, let's talk about residual income, and I'll let Mr. Bean talk about residual income a little bit more in detail. But the reality is that we all have residual bills, right? Now you can set yourself up for residual income with our Smart Money Club. I was watching flipping through ESPN. And I was looking at just a few old documentaries. I love 30 for 30. And I saw a particular documentary called Growth. And that documentary talked about NFL players who were multi-millionaires, who had everything in the world when it came to millions of dollars. But in a matter of a couple of years, they lost it all. Why? Because they were not taught financial mastery. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we now can offer you that service of financial mastery. Again, Mr. Bean will go into detail, but what if you could provide a service that could provide a residual income while also helping people not only earn money, but save money? So let's dig into what's on my shirt, which is our flagship product. Let's talk about solar. Now, here's what I love. Now, we talked about what to look for in a business opportunity. Right now, we're going to talk about why to get involved in the solar industry. I talked about size of the market, but let's also talk about timing. So there are 30 million homes in the US. Now, 90 million are eligible for solar, and about 5 million already have solar, which is great, right? And I think a lot of these solar pros and even some of you have had something to do with it. But listen, there are 85 million homes that are still eligible and currently without solar. Now, I don't think that you need to be a mathematician, nor do you have to earn an A in calculus to understand that you do not need all 85 million homes to transform the trajectory of your life. Listen, you can get crumbs here. With 85 million, you don't need a piece of pie. You can go with crumbs and still change the trajectory of your life and your family. But here's what I love about this company. We have leadership here because everything rises and falls with leadership. we have leadership here that will make sure that we have the #1 solar company in the nation, right? And I wholeheartedly believe that because, again, putting together a system like this and everything I love that we have is all about systems. And we have the leadership who's put something very magical here. And you'll see it, you'll hear about that a little bit later. So I'm going to take off my Encore hat and I'm going to put on the hat of a consumer because I myself have solar. And why did I go solar? Well, first and foremost, I live in Houston, Texas. And if anyone knows the Texas heat, you understand that air conditioners run often. And I love my wife and she gets whatever she wants. And one thing that she wanted was a home that had a lot of windows, which meant that our air conditioner ran consistently, which equated to a energy bill of over $400 on average. Now, I love the fact that I could save up to 50% on energy costs, but I loved even more that there were 0 down options because, again, as I talked about before, a lot of people have drawbacks with going solar because they thought that solar was so expensive. But again, partnering with the companies that we partner with and the leadership that we have with this company, they put together various financing options where your customers can now have 0 down options, meaning that they pay nothing out of pocket up front in many cases. But also, one thing that is near dear to my heart is the blackout protection. And why is that? Well, many of you know that 2024 was one of the hardest hit years when it came to natural disasters, particularly hurricanes. And if you are in the Texas area, Florida area, or even anywhere on the South, you understand that blackout protection was a must. I am just thinking back to just hearing the news stories and just seeing name after name of elderly individuals losing their lives because of heat exhaustion, because we were left in Houston in particular with, weeks without energy, without lights. And I can only imagine the pain that people were going through because their loved ones did not have lights. And in many cases, there were no hotels to go to, right? So, and even if there were hotel rooms to book, most people could not afford weeks upon weeks to stay in a hotel, right? So blackout protection is an absolute must when you're in these areas, and we now have the opportunity to offer that to our customers. But also tax credits. 30% tax credits. And when the government wants you to do something, they incentivize it. So right now, up until 2032, the government is offering a 30% tax credit. And we have someone right now, even regardless of what your political affiliation is, the president has brought in Elon Musk to head up the Department of Government Efficiency, right? So we also have immediate increase on your home value, but also clean energy. Going back to what we talked about with the hurricane, a lot of people damaged their health because they were running gas through their portable generators, right? So now you can offer clean energy. So as soon as that sun comes up, boom, your power on the top of your roof is powering your roof and going back to your battery. But again, every 44 seconds, someone went solar. And I believe that solar is slated to double every single year for at least the next 3 years. And in 2023, I believe someone went solar every 39 seconds. So again, what we're introducing is nothing new, but it's also something that's not slowing down anytime soon. And if you're in California, you already know that if a home is being built, you are already being introduced to solar. And I believe at least by 2035, there will be no gas guzzlers on the car. You won't be able to buy a gas guzzler. So I think Mr. Bean once said he has someone who has a lawnmower, and they're now thinking about how to make that lawnmower electric, right? Because again, the world is changing and we must change as well. So what do you see here? I know some people say that they see opportunity. Some people say that they see naked roofs. But here's what I see. I see homes where you now have the option to offer 4 different verticals to a homeowner. You now have the option to make sure that when someone needs a life-saving device, that they can keep that life-saving device on. You now can save families by offering them a savings, right? So imagine a family being able to save, $1,000, $1,200 for the year. What would that do for them, right? Let's do some testimonials. So in California, the great state of California, we had a customer, and I believe this was a real estate agent who did this deal. Now the customer had a bill of $287 before solar and ended up after solar $148 for the month. Now, again, you don't have to be a mathematician to know that $287 is way more than $148. But here's why that's important. And I love what our VP of Sales, Mr. JC Rangel, said, that solar sales is not a presentation. It's an IQ test. Why? Because, again, people understand that $148 on average is much less than $287. But what I love is that you, as a referring mentee, right? Because again, we talk about systems, right? We have a system where you can come in, you don't have to get your certification in order to make money. You can earn while you learn. You can have someone like Chris McHenry, Idris Alaka, do your deal, right? They teach you how to do your solar deal, right? Mr. McHenry gets $3,200 and you get $3,200, right? Commission of $3,400. Now, again, we talked about the average salary in the United States of America is under $64,000. Even if you get half of that, ladies and gentlemen, you've almost nearly doubled your yearly income. But let's not just stop there. Let's go to the great state of Florida. Customer did $410 on average, which looked a lot like my bill. And now after solar, $290. Again, solar sales is not a presentation. It is an IQ test. What did this deal look like? Well, this deal offered an $8,200 commission. Again, the mentor who is teaching you how to speak with the customer, how to design the system, you learn everything that you can, and you're now offered $4,100 just by asking someone for an energy bill and uploading it into a system. Ladies and gentlemen, again, a system is something that can absolutely change your life, and I'll tell you how. McDonald's built a system where 16-year-olds can now run the company almost, right? Because systems are in place. Well, I can tell you that with our system, our mentors put into place, and there's trainings happening all over every day where you can learn absolutely how to make $4,100 on one single sale. So it is absolutely amazing. But before I get out of here, let's just talk about what this means to a customer over time. Well, to be honest, and I think this is very conservative, that you're looking at an annual increase of about 6 to 8% on energy, right? So that means if you have a $150 bill, in the next 10 years, that same bill will be about $300, meaning that over time, upwards over 25 years, your energy cost will be well over $225,000. And you can approximately save about $54,000 by going solar, which means you're saving well over $171,000, right? So if I were to ask you to lock in if I would ask you, 20 years ago, to lock in a gas price, right, at $1 or whatever it was 20 years ago, would you have done it? Right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the same thing can be said for solar sales, right? What we're doing right now is we are locking in today's price, protecting people from tomorrow's inflation. All right. So as energy increases over time, we can now offer people a locked in price to make sure that they never have to deal with the inflation and eventually take them and free them from the dirty energy grid. All right. So I'm going to step out of the way. But before I do, I would like to bring onto the stage a gentleman that is near and dear to me. Not only is this gentleman the VP of Leadership Development, but he's also a military veteran. He is also an amazing father, amazing husband, amazing friend, and the person that is going to help me to realize my life and dreams. So I want to introduce some and present to others, none other than the VP of Leadership Development, Mr. Samuel Bean. Mr. Bean, are you on the line, sir?
I'm on, sir. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear, sir. Sound like Joe Levert.
Well, I can just tell you right now, great presentation, man. I tell you, the way you articulated, the company and what we offer, it was amazing. And I appreciate just the effort and the energy that you put into your presentations. And guys, I'm quite sure that you guys got a lesson today. And If you will, go ahead and give him some fire. Go ahead and give him some ones and celebrate him. I mean, this is his first time doing a presentation for the company, and it looks like a seasoned pro, and so excited for that. And so he makes my job easy, guys, because now I get a chance to talk to you guys about money. But before I do so, this is what I want you guys to know. Myself personally, uh, many years in business. 5 years in the military, U.S. military. Came home, went straight to real estate, which is the industry I made my first 7 figures in. Okay, left real estate, went into coffee for over a decade. Matter of fact, for over 15 years in coffee and commodities, international and domestic. Made almost 8 figures in that, right? And then in investing in the private sector, guys, built networks and investing teams over 7 figures. And I don't say that to impress you. I say that to impress upon you that um, I retired after the investments, guys. I was away from the industry for over 3 years, and I was minding my own business and doing my own thing. And had someone give me a call about this company that you guys are seeing today, right? And when I looked at it, I really looked at it, and I looked at what they have to offer and how unique it was. And once I saw how unique it was, and I saw that this was a Me Too situation that we could corner the market and get there first and do some damage, I looked at the compensation plan. Okay. And the compensation plan, a lot of you would say, well, it's a lot of money in this thing. That's why you got started. It's a lot of money in this thing for everybody. That's why I got started. Just like you guys, I can make money in anything. Yeah, there are people making millions of dollars and billions of dollars around the world and everything outside of this company. But for me, my life goal and one of the things I want to do is help other people retire. My wife and I, we've had some, I would say we've been blessed enough to have a measurable level of success, help, almost 50 people retire from their jobs into business. Several people earn millions of dollars doing business with us. But when I say the masses, guys, I'm talking about my goal over the next 5 years is to help 10,000 families get to $5,000 a month of residual reoccurring income. And then after that, there are bigger and better things that we want to do. But this is a platform where I saw that can actually happen. Okay. And I want to talk about big money, but I also want to talk about, the money that people need right now. Okay. So it's not just an opportunity of a lifetime. It's an opportunity for right now. And when I look at opportunities, I always look at who's participating in those opportunities. Okay. Okay. I do believe that success leaves clues. I do believe that when you see people like Warren Buffett making power moves, and he's not just quoting things like energy deregulation will be the largest transfer of wealth in industry in the history. Guys, he put $10 billion of his own money and capital into clean energy, into renewable energy, into solar, right? And so for me, that was a moment where the light bulb went off, right? And then as Landon talked about earlier, guys, he alluded to the fact that you can see, with the new president in office, Bitcoin shot our way up. So money has already been impacted from a cryptocurrency, perspective. And then when you look at what's happening with energy, guys, he talked about bringing Elon Musk in, and guys, the need for solar is great. So much so that each and every last one of you who can hear my voice today, whether you have solar on your roof or not, you're paying for solar, period. Okay. And so I want to make sure you understand that, guys. When you look at, the writing has been on the wall for a long time for these energy companies, and a lot of them aren't even selling you fossil fuel generated energy. A lot of them are selling you solar generated energy, and they're charging you fossil fuel prices for it, right? And so if you look at the energy company that you service, you guys go take a look at it, because I'm talking about money. They're hiding that from you, right? Guess what? You talk about what Landon said earlier when he talked about the tax deductions. Guys, guess what? If they're offering you tax deductions, guess who else they're offering tax deductions? They're offering the energy companies tax deductions because they're using the solar farms to power your house. So they're getting the benefits and the breaks, not you. Okay? So where is that wise financially? Where is that wise economically, right? And so when I say an important thing, guys, that's a very, very important thing. So when I look at this company and I look at the compensation plan, the way they pay you out and everything else included, I was blown away. And so this company pays you 7 different ways. The company's extremely generous. But like I said, when you talk about some right now money, guys, For people who want a legitimate career, this is an amazing opportunity. As a matter of fact, I would say it's an epic opportunity, probably the most epic opportunity out there based on the impact that it can have on a person's household. Okay? Like Landon said, you can looking at part-time jobs, people working 25, 30 hours a week, guys, not a month, a week to make $3,000 a month, right? So it means that now you take the whole entire day away from your family, away from your loved ones, away from your life, right? And you wake up one day wondering where all the time went. But people are always saying money can't buy you happiness. I can tell you right now, if money was able to fire your boss, not just the second boss, I'm talking about the first boss as well, and bring you home to your family, how happy would that make you, right? So I can tell you, money has bought me a lot of happiness. I've been able to go from being, born as a kid in poverty, right? Father out in the streets, working 2 jobs and 3 jobs, never seeing him a lot. But I learned from that and I went to business and now I see my kids all the time. I've been able to watch them grow up in person, right? Since they were babies. And that's the one thing that money bought me, right? My wife hasn't had a job for about 16 years now. Okay. So I'm the king of the castle, right? Because, I brought her home. And so that money brought her happiness because she got a chance to watch her kids grow up, in person. So I don't know what it is for you and what money would do for you today, guys. But I do know this, it's extremely important. Okay. If you don't think money is important, quit your job today and let's see how long you last. Okay. Because there's a lot of nonsense out there, people downplaying how much importance money has. And it's always the people who are not happy where they're at, but they're not willing to go out there and do something extra to get it. Okay. And so here, as you can see, a person can sell one deal, guys. A person who needs $500 to $1,000 a month just to get by, just to breathe. They can do one deal, and that one deal can last them 2 and 3 and 4 months, or just basically helping them do better than getting by. Okay. But then you have a person who can make a multiple 6-figure annual income, guess what, on a very part-time basis. And I'm going to show you how to do that. Lastly, as what if you could wake up one day and realize you were in an Amazon or Jeff Bezos position? Hey, I'm going to show you how we do that as well. So follow along with me here real quick here. We're going to talk a little bit of money. And the first thing we're going to talk about is what Robert Kiyosaki likes to say, YOE, your own efforts, right? Person just says, I want to be a person who I can sell what I want to sell when I want to sell it. And when I want to sell it, I can turn it off. When I want to sell it, I can turn it on. Well, every time you sell it, guys, the company's going to pay you between $6,000 to $10,000. Okay. But that 70% of commissions of that actual deal is what of their profit is what they're going to actually pay you. So in this example, and I'm going to use this $10,000 example throughout the whole entire presentation. So when you see me do numbers, it's going to be based off that number right there. Okay. So 70% of $10,000 is $7,000. Now you'll get the whole entire 7,000 if you did both sides of the deal. Okay. If not, you'll get half. You'll get 50%. You'll split that 50% with the person who did the deal with you. Okay. But let me share with you, the first side of the deal, guys, it's just 3 steps. As easy as 1, 2, 3, right? 1, pique a person's interest basically and share them the same benefits that Landon shared with you earlier. 2, get that person's utility bill for the last 12 months, right? 3, set an appointment with the actual expert. We call them mentors, right? And when you do that, your job is done. Okay. 1, 2, 3, real simple, $3,500 in this example. Now, when you hand it off to a mentor is a person who is now going to take that bill and they're going to take the information off the bill and they're going to create a presentation for the homeowner. And that presentation is going to consist of, anything and everything solar that as it pertains to them, their houses and their finances. They're going to take the roof and they're going to show them a AI generated picture of how the solar panels are going to look on a home. They're going to go over the tax breaks and if they qualify or not. They're going to go over, financing options, right? And guys, they're going to go through the whole entire thing on your behalf. Guess what? They're doing all the hard work. Okay. All you have to do is, get them to the table without messing it up. Okay. And so the mentors, again, very, very important that they're operating on YOE, just like you are, their own efforts. And, you know, when you actually look at that deal gets closed, both you guys are happy. They get half, you get half. It's a win-win situation. Now, for people who want to become mentors, right? This is how simple it is. As you can see, they're becoming a mentor, guys. 3 training sales with a mentor, and you can sit there on those Zooms because we do 90% of our business online. You can sit there, quiet, take notes, and learn. And then after it's over, with, you can even ask questions and get some schooling. Close 5 deals on your own. Okay. When you close those 5 deals, guys, you complete a company certification in-house, not state regulated. We just want to make sure you have a really good, healthy understanding and knowledge of what you're doing so you can represent our client base. Okay. Once that happens, we put your name in lights. People can click on the drop down box and they can find you, what city and state you're in, and your expertise, and use you if they so chose to. These are the most powerful organic leads in the industry. Okay. And so when you look at the build model, that's why you have a lot of solar pros who are coming here because, again, things are changing. Regulations are changing about people buying leads and selling leads and things like that, guys. So they're coming to people who can produce leads and generate leads organically. Okay. So you'll have people, like I said, who want to be a mentor like you. And when they come to you, they got to do 3 deals as well. So you help 4 people close 3 deals. Okay, that's 12 deals. That's an average of $3,500 per the example. That's $42,000 if you do that every month. That's a $500,000 a year, guys. Think about this for a second. If you just help 2 people, that's $250,000 a year. Okay? You just help 1 person become a mentor, guys. That's 15 grand a year. Okay, and so again, this is organic. This is how we build. This is how we actually service our mentors. Right now, Zig Ziglar, the late great, said it, and he said it best, guys. You will always get what you want in life if you help enough people get what they want in life. Basically, if you put other people's families first, your family will never ever be last, right? You'll never be left wanting. And when I look at, the business model, right, that is most popular by contractors all over the United States of the world and of America and all around the world, guys, if you know real estate agents, put 1 in the chat. Okay. If you know loan officers, please put a 1 in the chat. Okay. If you know insurance agents, right, who put a 1 in the chat. If you know attorneys, right, put a 1 in the chat. See, I'm naming a lot of people who are part of brokerages, who are part of networks, right? And it's always the one person who's the founder of the feast, who is the broker who overrides every deal. That's the person who put it together. That's the person that's in charge of the marketing and everything else. They're in charge of the overhead, and they make it, actionable for a person to come in and make a living, right? And we put you in that position without you having to actually own the company. Okay. And so for me, I am very familiar with this. When I own my own real estate company, I wasn't the broker. I had an out of office broker. I was a owner, agent, right? But I had at least 13 desks in that office, and every time they did something, I earned something. Because what? I was a person who was putting the signs in the street. I was a person who was putting the money in the magazines. I was a person who was putting the money in the billboards. As Again, this company is doing the same thing that any of the brokers would do. All you have to do is build your brokerage. All you have to do is bring your sales force to the table. And this is how we're going to reward you. Okay? Every time you bring a person to the table as a consultant, you're going to make 20% of that deal. Now, I want to make sure you can compute what's happening here. The first part of the conversation was for YOE, your own efforts. This is OPE, other people's efforts. So the 30% that was left, right? You're going to get 20% of that 30% or whatever that number is. But in this example, it was $3,000 left. So 20% of $3,000 is $600. Let's say I saw Miriam. Miriam is on the line. Miriam comes in. She's a consultant. And Miriam, you enroll me, and I'm a solar pro, right? And I bring 5 deals to the table. They're all $10,000 commissions, and you make 20% on all the 3,000s that's there, right? That's $3,000 that you made, and you didn't do 1 deal, and you didn't close 1 deal. You just overrode me as my broker. Guys, I'm happy. You're happy. We're good. We have a great relationship. Okay. I can provide for my family because of you. I can actually work part-time, or I can work from the comfort of my own home because of you. We have no beef. As a matter of fact, I'm going to do something else. I'm going to bring other people to the table. Like I'm going to bring Landon to the table. And when Landon does 5 deals himself, that's 10 deals that you have that's in your network, right? So now you're a manager in this scenario. So guess what happens? You get 30% on the deals I bring to the table. So now that's $900 times 5. Okay, that's $4,500. But you get 10% on the deals that Landon brings to the table because Landon is a part of my team, which is a part of your brokerage. Okay. So now you're getting 300 times 5 on the deals that Landon brought to the table. Guys, that's $1,500. That's $6,000 that you made on those 10 deals, and you did nothing except for, again, bring someone to the table who wanted to make some money. Okay. So as your brokerage produces more and more deals, as you can see, this is deal based. This is not people based. This is not a recruiting situation. Obviously, the chances of you making more money based on you having a larger sales force, it increases. Okay. But this is more about skill set than it is big numbers. Okay. But director, you're getting 35%, 15% down in infinity. Executive director, 40% frontline, 20% down to infinity. But this is where you start to get profit sharing. This is where you get a chance to now get a piece of every deal that's done in the company. Imagine that the company, say, does, we're doing about 100 solar deals a month right now. Imagine you're an executive director and the company says we're going to take 2% of every, we're going to take 2% of every one of those 100 deals that close, and we're going to put it in the pool. Okay. And let's just say it's you and 4 other executives in that on that level. You 5 will actually divide up 100% of the revenue in that pool. Okay. So this is why you're not just, going to go out there and do what's best for your family. This is why you're going to go out there and make sure that all the people who you bring along, they're going to come in and they're going to do great as well. You're incentivized to actually make sure the company thrives. Okay. And so it's a win-win situation. Same thing for national, 45% frontline, 25% down in depth, down to infinity, and 5% profit sharing, company-wide pool. Okay. And so again, think about this as brokerages, guys, and this will click for you. Okay. So when you look at, again, a couple other examples here, you have a person who's a manager, 10 consultants, everybody does 1 deal each, real simple, right? And 4 of those come from first level, 6 of those come from anywhere down in infinity, $6,300 in this example. Okay. You do 1 deal yourself because you don't have to be an actual mentor to do both sides of the deal. After you do your first 3 deals, guys, guess what? You can now do both sides of the transaction. Okay. So you do those 3 deals with a mentor, you can be on both sides of the transaction. So $7,000 in this example, along with the $6,300, that's $13,000. 12 months, you do that, that happens for you every month. That's 150 grand a year, guys. Double it up, you're now a director, more money on the table, $20,000 a month, $250,000 a year, part-time. Okay. So you want to start thinking like a business owner, but you want to think about business from a today perspective as opposed to the way your grandparents did business. Okay. Back in the day, it was sexy to have a brick and mortar business. Now it's sexier to have a click and order business. As when you look at the way business is being done and how people are doing business online, again, it means that you have no employees. You have minimal to no overhead. You have minimal to no risk, right? But you have max profit potential. Guys, if you look at this, what it takes to actually own a solar company, you're looking at 150 grand to 250 grand bottom line to get one started, and about 15 to 50 grand a month to keep it going, scale it, and sustain it, right? And so most people don't have those resources. Okay. But guess what? Brandon, myself, and the person who invited you here, guys, we're brokers. We only invested $200 to get our business off the ground. And guess what? We have everything that a solar company has without all of the liabilities, without all of the overhead. We sleep really, really good at night because nobody's calling us talking about what went on in the office or what went wrong in the office, right? So again, click and order over brick and mortar. Now, getting started is very, very simple. You don't have to take any certifications to sell solar. Guys, we teach you in-house. You don't have to take any classes, any certifications in licensing to sell water, to sell Ripple, or to participate in anything that we do, guys. It's real simple. $149 to open up the doors, get everything activated, get your shop set up. $49 a month to sustain it, support, training, and everything that comes with it, right? Now, these are for career people. These are the ones you just want to be left alone. You want to sell your deals, and if you recruit somebody for your solar brokerage on accident, that's fine, right? You'll still get paid overrides, but that's not why you're here, okay? But the people who are business builders, right? These are the people who, when I say they see the big picture and they understand that there's more to it than just selling, okay? They understand leverage, but they also understand that membership has its privileges, right? And so when you look at the business builder packages, that's for brokers, right? $199 down. Now, consider this. Some of you guys have spent $2,000 for Christmas, right? Make people happy and buy gifts for people who you love. Guys, I'm gonna tell you, there's nothing better as a gift for your family than financial freedom, right? And so you're looking at $200, to get your doors open, get us in your corner, and to help and to have us go to work with you, not for you, but $99 a month. Guess what? Both of those monthlies go away if you have 4 people who are coming on board with you or when. Now, the benefits that you actually experience when you have a business brokerage, starts with the Smart Money Club. And I know it took everything in Landon not to go over this stuff and talk about it because he's like a info junkie when it comes to money and financial mastery, right? So, but think about this for a second. This is a lot of stuff that's not taught in households all around the world. So you'll have a lot of people who have hustle. They have grit, right? They'll go out here and they'll roll their sleeves up, go to work, and they'll make $1 million. And guess what they'll do? Lose it, right? They know how to make the money. They don't know how to sustain it. They don't know how to scale it. They don't know how to diversify with it. They don't know how to leverage it. They don't know how to create a legacy, right? They don't know how to put things in place that they can leave for their families, right? They don't know that stuff. Okay? We do. That's what we specialize in. Okay. When I look at all these things that you see here, guys, that's just the tip of the tip of the iceberg, right? There are so many other things that we're bringing to the table, so many professionals that you have access to when it comes to business advice, tax advice, investment advice. These people are already advising our Smart Money Club members already. They've been advising these people for over a year now. Okay. And so you get a chance to have access to this information. So we're going to teach you how to make the money, help you make the money, but we're going to teach you how to grow that money and diversify with it as well. Now, the second part of this membership club is the lifestyle. I like to say lifestyle. The Bill Rewards is all about food, vacationing, having fun, right? And when you look at, what we offer, 50,000 restaurants, we have discounts, at these restaurants, right? Steakhouses, top of the line steakhouses all the way down to fast foods. Okay. Retailers, 150,000 retailers that you can go into the Gap, kind of like Kyrie did when his daughter spilled something on her shirt. He got a 20% discount using his membership at the Gap on the spot, and she walked out with a brand new t-shirt on, right? And so travelers, people like, Idris Alaka, who lives up in New York, got his mom a really, really nice hotel room, when when she was relaxing, and he got a real big discount, a nicer discount for doing that for her, right? But guys, I've already used it for traveling to Vegas at the Bellagio. I'm sorry, at the Venetian rather. I saved $28 a night, 5 nights. In LAX at the Hilton LAX, saved $31 a night, $186 over 6 nights, right? Would have saved $317 on the trip to Cancun, but I wasn't in the company at that point in time. Okay. And so, I love what we have to offer, guys. And this is what I want you guys to pay more attention to, because those benefits are amazing. And I'm gonna just say right now, the money that you save will pay for the right for you to be in business. Also, guess what? Because of these memberships, guys, this monthly subscription that comes with that, guys, it's a tax write-off, right? A lot of you guys are, let's say if you make 100 grand a year and at your job, okay? And let's say you don't have any kids and your sisters and brothers don't have any kids for you to borrow. Let's say the government is taking $37,000 from you. they're hitting you with taxes. So you really don't make 100 grand. You make 67,500. Well, when you have a business like this, guys, and you can now start to write off all areas of your life, including travel and foods, restaurants, entertainment, bouncy houses, and stuff like that, guys. You get 50%, up to 50% of that money back if you have a great tax attorney, even more. Okay. So now you go from 67,000 take home to 82,000, 85 grand take home. Okay. So again, membership has its privileges. Okay. But let me show you the Jeff Bezos effect. Okay. Like I said, when I look at the knockoff industry is a $1 billion industry, right? The knockoff industry is so significant, guys, where you have people like Robert Kiyosaki, who he owned a Velcro wallet company back in the day, and people pirated his patent, and they started creating those same Velcro wallets and making a ton of money off of it, and he couldn't do anything about it. And guess what he did? He partnered with them. If you can't beat them, join them, right? And so you have a lot of people who are doing knockoff things like some purses, electronics, handbags, clothes, all kind of different things and businesses. Okay. And so when I look at, business, I look at, Jeff Bezos and what he has his hands on with Amazon. Guys, most of you guys think he sells a lot of products. He has a product-based company. He doesn't. He has a subscription-based company, okay, that looks like a product-based company. Yeah, you can buy anything you want on Amazon, anything, okay? And guess what? He's going to make money off of 100% of the purchases that you make on Amazon. But his security, guys, that comes from the subscriptions, okay? When you look at Jeff Bezos, he offers subscriptions on 15 to 20 different things, not just Amazon Prime, right? But he has over 200 million Amazon Prime memberships, okay? Over 200 million. So the company's valuation, guys, is based off of subscriptions, somewhat off of what they sell, okay? And so think about that for a second. So when you look at those residuals, that money that's coming in every month, and go and look at how these companies out here are doing business today, the fastest growing sector of business right now today, guys, is subscription-based businesses. Give an example. A lot of you in COVID, you had to do business from home. Guess what you did? You got a subscription to Zoom. Okay, you had kids who couldn't go anywhere. Guess what you did? You got a subscription to Fortnite. A lot of you guys are buying skins, and you don't even know what a skin is, right? A lot of you guys want just Netflix and chill. Over 260 million people have a Netflix membership and subscription. Spotify, 239 people. Again, they decided to listen to music instead of talk to themselves or talk to their spouses, but they got a subscription. HBO, 100 million. I'm talking to you guys right now because I don't want you to see $200 and think cheap. I don't want you to see $200 and $99 a month and think, it's a network marketing company. This is not a network marketing company, okay? This is a business. This is a high-ticket sales company that gives you the ability to build a subscription-based revenue that, I'm just saying right now, that can grow as big as you will allow it to. Okay? $500 a month to $250,000 a month. And just this one way you get paid, and you still get money in all other ways. So with that being said, guys, if you see value in this, like we do, you see value in the Smart Money Club, you see value, in the Bills Reward memberships, you see value in owning 4 companies under one umbrella, right? That we talked about, that Landon went over thoroughly, that you see right here in front of you. Get back to the person. Go ahead and just say, what, I appreciate you for giving me this opportunity. But 2, I want to go ahead and get myself my brokerage. I want to go ahead and get started. And, I want to go ahead and get my game plan and get my business on the road. Okay. And so with that, get back with the person that invited you guys again. Get yourself positioned, do yourself a favor, and let's go ahead and make plans for your future. Okay. Yeah, have a great evening. And on behalf of myself, my partner for the night, Landon Taylor, I look forward to working with you guys. Good night for now.